Welcome to a brand new episode of Sequel Rights, the podcast where we take a look at the franchises that make you go, they made how many of those? And we give each and every sequel a fair trial. My name is Justin Camps, and I'm here with
Elizabeth Helly.
And
the Minnesota Miracle, the real Minnesota Miracle, Tyler Hymanson.
Oh, I was trying to think, I was doing like
Mr. Bash. What am I, Mr. Bash now?
Mr. Bash.
Mr. Bash.
Solo Bash, man. I forgot what I was going to do. I was trying to think of a goofy thing to do for the intro this week, and I forgot that my idea was to say, we give each and every sequel a fair trial with our legal counsel, Gordon Bombay. And I just forgot to do that, but there you go. That's what I was going to do this week. Well, welcome back, folks, ladies and gentlemen, babies, gorillas, whoever's listening, ducks, hopefully. We're back for D3, The Mighty Ducks. No fancy titles this time, just continuing on D3. 1996.
Listeners, you can't see this, but Tyler is wearing hockey clothes.
Oh, I totally forgot. Yeah, I am.
What does it say on there? Vegas?
I'm wearing a Las Vegas Golden Knights hockey sweatshirt.
Oh, nice. Awesome. I knew it didn't say this, but from my eyes, it looked like it said Vegas shenanigans and then hockey sticks. I can't see.
What is a shenanigan, Justin? What is a shenanigan?
What is a shenanigan? Yeah. Oh, God. All right. Well, before we get into this movie here, Eliz, where can people reach out to us?
Yeah, you can email us at sequelrights@gmail.com or find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Sequel Rights.
And please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Hopefully you like this show more than the critics like this movie, as I have the Rotten Tomatoes up for it, and it is grim.
Critics didn't like any of the movies, okay?
They hated them. But since there's no tomato option on Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars instead.
Give us 5 super ripe tomatoes. All right, well, let's find out where the ducks have flown to now.
Since its inception, Eden Hall Academy has taken great pride in its tradition of excellence.
And so today, we proudly open our doors via full scholarships to a truly gifted group of student athletes.
Hi, we're the Ducks.
The Mighty Ducks are back.
School looks stuffy, but we'll loosen it up, huh, Coach? I'm not going to be your coach this year, Charlie.
They've got a new coach.
What's the one thing all great teams have in common?
Great coaching.
Don't try to suck up to me, Averman.
They've got a new school.
Every Monday, you'll have a practice quiz. And anytime I feel like it, you'll have a surprise exam.
But it's the same old duck attitude.
I'm a goalie, not a skater! Same old Ducks.
I know, it just kind of ends there.
Same old Ducks.
Same old Ducks.
Who literally retained nothing from the past film or 2 films, depending on which character you're talking about.
I know. It's funny. I was thinking during this, there's I guess you'd have to account for all the characters they introduced in the last movie. But I was like, part of me was like, did the last movie even happen?
Yeah.
There's things that happen in this movie that make you go like, did that person exist? I don't know.
Well,
that person exists. Yeah, this movie is basically Fight Club wouldn't have been able to happen before this movie had the narrative of.
Is Han's brother Jan a real person?
yeah, what happened to Jan? Okay. He just disappeared into the ether.
Doesn't even.
He couldn't be there at the funeral because he was with their mother.
Yeah, he didn't even come to the damn funeral, even though they did have women in
leader.
What do you call those outfits?
No mention
Norway.
of him once. They were like, yeah, Jan couldn't make it. Nobody said anything. It's like he never existed.
You know who else never existed? Charlie's stepfather.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is that about?
Yeah, I was like, she's a waitress now?
She was always a waitress.
But no, I mean, still.
Oh, yeah.
At Mickey's Diner? Yeah. Yeah, that was weird. I was surprised to see her back.
Right. Why bother, honestly?
Before we get too far into it, in my mind, I had seen this movie as well. I watched this franchise a lot. In my mind, they were in college. They were in college because they all look like they should be in college.
But this is...
Joshua Jackson is 18 years old. He is certainly not a freshman in fucking high school.
Yeah, but
honestly, it didn't bother me. I would have believed that he was a freshman or at least a Hollywood
Tyler,
freshman. It's only Aaron and Laura that I was like, give me a break. Who's like getting naked on the court.
If you're a freshman, if you're a freshman in high school, you're 12 or 13.
No, you're not. You're 14 or 15.
No, you're not.
Let's take a vote. Viewers, call in right now and tell us who's right.
I was 13 when I was a freshman in high school.
Who knows more about preteens, Tyler or Eliz?
I could drive my junior year.
Tyler, well, I mean, as you heard, like clearly
Yes.
this is them in grade 9, okay? So I don't know why you were confused.
I was 18 when I was in college. Like, I don't understand.
Wait, you were 17 when you started college?
No, 18.
Oh,
17. July birthday.
got it.
Yeah.
That's why you were only 13 when you started.
Yeah. Well, I too was totally shocked by how old some of the kids looked.
Yeah.
Personally, because like if you just go in from the last movie to this one, it was like, whoa, okay, yeah, you're right. Joshua Jackson looked like he's like, you know, almost stepping in the creek.
Yep.
2 years away from the creek.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's like, I hear the creek calling from a distance. I thought he looked really way older than the last movie.
Yes.
And it was, I too was a little bit shocked. But yeah, so the setup this time is that they have, they won the gold medal in the Junior Goodwill Games, and
Which
no
would
one cares.
supposedly mean that they were the best players in the world
Exactly.
of their age.
Yes.
But Goldberg still can't do anything. He literally can't even skate in a straight line on the street.
Mm-hmm.
And what's his name? Miami kid. He still can't stop, even though he competed on the world stage. They never taught him the whole year.
Yep.
And I don't know. I mean, last movie, Charlie was so bad that nobody cared when he gave up his spot in the final game so that Banks could play. But this time it's like, oh, I'm the captain. We can't do anything without me. And it's like the first movie, all it was that you suck. They called him Spazway. They were like, don't let him make the final shot. Second movie, he gives up his spot. Nobody blinks an eye. Like, so that Keenan and Banks can both play. This movie, like,
He's cleaning out the garbage in front of the net. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know.
I just like that, apparently the Junior Goodwill Games are bullshit because no one else the Junior Goodwill Goonies Games. I can't talk. It's already been a long week.
Yes. We record on Mondays, folks.
Yes. I thought it was strange that no one else seemed to give a flying fuck that they were like you said, the best team in the world. They're all like, who the fuck are these losers playing at our school? They don't belong here. Get them out of here. They're terrible. I don't care.
My favorite part about this is that the way that they're showing that like they don't have a right to be here is that there's some rich family's son who couldn't make the junior varsity that we never see. Yeah. They're just like, what? Like my idiot fucking kid is good enough to be on this team with these fucking idiots?
It's so
mentioned like
crazy.
4 or 5 times.
There is no school or situation in which you take a team wholesale and then refuse to let anybody else in or out. Like, I mean, they brought in like half a dozen kids from around the country to come live there who like gave up their lives, and nobody cares about this except for Keenan, who occasionally is like, hello, like I moved here from South Central Los Angeles.
His name
I'm not gonna
is
leave because of the Ducks.
Yeah.
Which is surprising that the movie even has that voice, honestly.
Right.
Yeah, he wouldn't shut up about that scholarship the entire movie. That was like his main thing.
He was like, they make it seem like he was homeless and they picked him up off the street and brought him to
I've got nothing
Minnesota.
to go back
It's
to.
not like he had a really cool older brother or a family there, that we saw in the last movie.
They don't exist either. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
So Gordon Bombay, who still gets top billing despite being in only 10% of the movie.
Cameo Bombay.
I was like looking at my watch like, what the fuck is it? When is he going to come back? It's already been an hour into this movie. What the hell?
I do like he's not in the movie a lot, but he does get the same ending as The Dark Knight. So I mean, kind of, he wins.
That was honestly one of the stupidest. I know that's all the way at the end of the movie, but it's like, why don't you just go say hi to everybody? You're just gonna walk off into the distance?
Well,
like,
because he's the coach they need.
There was a shot. There's a shot in. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he was there for just 2 days or what, and he never actually saw any of the cast. But there was a shot at the end before that moment too, where it is framed like, dude is a ghost, and he's gonna disappear right in front of us, because like. You don't see him the entire game, and then at the end, Charlie looks up in the stands, and he's standing there like he's haunting him. And it's such a shot.
He wasn't even there that day. They told Emilio to go to a hockey game. They got one shot of him looking, and then when they filmed it with Joshua Jackson, they were just like, look over there and pretend it's Bombay. Okay,
and like it seriously looks like he's going to disappear.
He walked out of that hockey game, turned into Bruce Willis, and then started haunting the shit out of Haley Joel Osment.
Yeah, we find out that the job the job that Gordon took didn't work out. He turned back to the alcohol, and car crash killed him halfway through.
No, it wasn't even a car crash. He just drove out onto the ice because he trusted it.
Oh my God, that's fucked up. Yeah, he would do that. Drive the car onto the ice.
Drive onto the ice.
MC Gainey, do it.
Yeah, we did get to see MC Gainey twice because there's only one like flashback that they used.
Yeah,
isn't it?
God, the flashbacks. Oh, I guess we should just talk about what this movie does, where it just like in the title sequence shows like sepia toned like clips from the previous two movies.
But like weird ones, not even like good ones.
No, it's like they look like B-roll where it's like text just being like, whoa.
Friggin' text. Yeah. And yeah, I don't even know if we fully explained the plot here, but like, yeah, the kids, they're going to Eden Hall. Gordon Bombay set them up with a bunch of scholarships, and yeah, they're the junior varsity team, and there's a scary varsity team that looks probably just about as scary as the guys from Iceland or whatever it was last time.
Actually, one of them is the same guy.
Well, there you go.
Good.
One of the lead Icelandic players in last movie is the guy who's the varsity goalie in this movie, and for some inexplicable reason kisses the
oh my God, I was gonna say
end.
Like I was hoping he was that guy. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Right.
Yeah.
That was...
I mean, there's some stuff to talk about who gets to make out with who in this movie, but as we're talking about the bad guys, I don't know if you guys read this tidbit, but the screenwriter was talking about how like originally the plot for the third movie was going to be a return to the Goodwill Games, and then the team from Bulgaria was going to say something anti-Semitic to Goldberg.
What?
and then it was going to be about the Ducks lose the next game, but Iceland, like they get in a fight at a restaurant, and the Iceland sides with the Ducks, being like, that was anti-Semitic, that's bullshit. And then the Ducks go to the game and root on Iceland so that they can beat the racist Bulgarians.
Oh my God.
I saw that line.
Goldberg, whose Judaism has never been like a plot point other than his name and the fact that he works at a deli.
Right. Yeah, that hasn't been really brought up at all in the movies. I don't know. Why would it need to be? I don't know.
I do love in this movie, speaking of Goldberg, there's a whole stunt scene while he's like stumbling around that they bring back the staple of any Mighty Ducks movie is that when an actor is about to jump over something on skates, he turns into a fully grown stuntman.
Yep. They do that a lot.
Yep.
I thought this scene was really funny because I just kept thinking, like, I don't know, like maybe Goldberg actually is a good skater because how is he not fallen over by now? He's able to stay up on his skates that entire time, and
he has a hose wrapped around him,
and
he's covered by a sheet.
Stupid.
Yeah, and neither of them die when they jump off the bridge. I was like,
the stunt doubles for that scene apparently did so much. Like they get credited like as their own thing as like stunt doubles for Charlie and Goldberg.
Well, that's like it's an insane
scene. Why would you
scene.
just stop instead of jumping off a bridge?
They're like, oh no, a bridge. Woo. And I thought for certain, I was like, oh wow, how'd they know there was water underneath there? And then it wasn't even water. It was like the freeway below them. And
they're lucky they
everyone else
didn't
was
land and kill their friend.
Like, I can't skate at all, but I bet I can stop because you just bend over and fall. Like,
right.
you know, like this whole, I can't stop. Like both the Hispanic kid and Goldberg, it's like, isn't there like a brake on the front that you just push your foot forward?
For inline for like rollerblades? No, you just flex your foot and a brake drops down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so stupid.
For ice skates a little bit more difficult, but at some point you're right, you opt for the broken wrist as opposed to dying.
Or just fall on your butt. Like,
yeah, they didn't know what was on the other side of that bridge. Come on.
Yeah.
It could have been a canyon as far as we know. But no, they land in front of their friends and they're all like, whoa, that was cool. And Charlie's like, hey man, don't do
someone
that
left
again.
out this vat of sulfuric acid.
They land right in one of those like garbage trucks.
Yeah.
And get squished. Yeah, that was kind of a ridiculous
they're all
moment.
skating to their like the press announcement that they've given the scholarship
But like,
to these kids.
yeah, but
and
like
they-
the guys from the other, like the people that got introduced last movie are all already there, like normal.
Yeah.
Sitting in the audience.
because they have to live there.
Oh, that's right.
yeah,
Other
they're-
kids
yeah.
are local.
I forgot about that.
So
that makes
they're coming in.
Makes more
So yeah,
sense.
Eliz, as somebody who I know, I had to do it for swim meet a couple times, but not that many schools had pools. For somebody who has shown up to a lot of different schools, you know how you just immediately show up to the place that you know you're supposed to be on stage and stumble through, right? It's super easy. You just show up to any school and you know exactly where to go.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they did do the press conference like outside that building at some point, so they sort of knew where it was, but it's like, why do you go on stage? Just go in the audience. Like, so
Yeah,
stupid.
you know how you make your way directly backstage and work your way through.
Yeah. I don't know.
So they ruin it.
Yeah, and even though they sort of like hint towards the fact that those other kids have to live there, it's not really like we said. Keenan makes a few comments about it, and they're shown, walking around together or getting places early a few times. So that's about it.
Yeah, I had no realization that anyone was living on campus until there's that like ant scene later on. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, there's dorm rooms. Okay.
Well, yeah, it's a wildly different scholarship if they're paying full room, board, food, everything else, or if you're still just living with Hans.
yeah.
And
Hans,
you're
I can't leave this
divorced?
chair or I
Single
might
mom?
die. Whatever his last name
Yeah,
is.
like, how I mean, I can't wait till that day when like I'm old and I'm ready to go and I'm just gonna say goodbye to someone and know, like, all right, I'm gonna die right after.
But I'm gonna fuck with them.
You're like, all right, well,
Also,
too bad you're not living up to my expectations. Goodbye, Charlie.
was it just me, or did it seem like he was having a heart attack at the very moment that he was saying goodbye?
Yes, he did.
Because he makes a face like, I'm good. See him.
Do not resuscitate. Goodbye, Charlie. Like,
That's my ducks. Those are my ducks.
also, I love when he says, the only two people who know how to open a door that sadly are you and Gordon Bombay.
Yeah.
Oh man, what a sick burn.
I did think that was
so
hilarious.
depressed that the two of you have a signature sad door opening sound.
Now that's a sad door if I ever heard one. Yeah.
Oh my god.
And he does that stupid like I thought he actually cut his finger.
The ketchup thing?
Yeah.
It's just a waste of ketchup.
I was like, what the fuck, Hans? What
just
are you
a
doing?
waste of ketchup.
But yeah, like we said, like you heard earlier, Hans is back in this one, which I was not expecting. Other than Eliz had said he was still alive, so
But we thought he was dead.
Yeah. We thought maybe he was dead, but yeah.
He's still alive. He might be in the show.
yeah, that would be.
We
That'd
think.
be
Do we
interesting.
think that next week, as we're talking about not the animated series, right? I'm
No,
gonna keep asking that. Maybe Hans is in there. Maybe his mom is still a waitress. We'll find out.
yeah, I don't know if anyone. I'm interested to see if anyone else comes back besides Gordon Bombay. But we'll see, I guess. But yeah, Hans. he doesn't really do too much. He has those moments where he's listening to the game on the oldest of old-timey radios. And like 2 times in a row, they cut back to him going like,
he has to crank it.
That's my ducks.
Which, by the way, the school is local, so Hans could have gone to the game. He didn't need to listen to it on the radio.
Those are my ducks. No, Hans, can you say it a little bit like, don't emphasize that. Those are my ducks.
Also, I don't know any high school, no matter how rich they are, whose hockey games, JV hockey gets played on the radio, not even varsity.
Yeah.
I wanted when they were doing bad for it to be like, those aren't my ducks.
That doesn't sound like my ducks. No, instead he was just like, God damn it, Charlie. Pick it up here. What are you doing?
Those aren't my ducks.
It did
Somebody
seem
really
like
should have sang the Cheer Up Charlie song from Willy Wonka at some point during this movie.
Yeah.
I kept thinking that.
I mean, I will say, as you were talking about the radio broadcast, the idea of having like a kid broadcaster is fun. He's pretty good. And we talked about having the great Bob Miller for D2. I will say that there is more actual hockey terminology happening in this movie. And that might be because of the weird meta-universe thing where the Anaheim Ducks exist.
Yeah.
And they were allegedly named after the fictional Goodwill Games team.
I did think that was funny.
Yeah, they are named after the movie, so he's not lying when he says, yeah, they named him after us.
Yeah.
But.
This movie takes place in real life.
It does.
Yeah, that kid was great.
Joshua Jackson was held back 4 grades.
You must be in grade 9 right now for this movie. I did like, the radio network was called K-War, like the Warriors. We got to talk about Eliz. There was a bunch of pep band scenes in this movie.
Yeah, I don't like.
Do you approve?
Stanford band looks like the Stanford band. I don't like. I don't think it was actually them because all this was shot, in Minnesota, I think. But they must have just been like, what's a cheap band costume to get? Stanford's, because it's literally just an ugly hat and a jacket. So,
what do you think about the pep band's choice to forsake the varsity band and then cheer on the striptease, completely illegal? Probably would have been a major penalty from a minor penalty. Striptease of the returning Bash brother.
100%. That's what a marching band would do. I don't know about high school, but and I can't really speak for any marching band anymore at this point. But would someone to do that at a game, the band totally would have gotten into it.
Would band leader Orion have run over and been like, no,
stop it?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's so many bad things about band. But yeah, there was a particular lick that somebody will always play when something sexy is happening, to harass them, basically.
I did think it was really funny and awkward that during that striptease scene, they cut to Charlie's mom in the stands, and she's
check out that 25-year-old guy.
That 25-year-old freshman in high school.
Yeah, ooh, you could bash me. Yeah. I mean, I was like, why are they cutting to her in that moment? It was so awkward.
Especially when the announcer was like, and the ladies are loving it. It's just Charlie's mom and some other mom, and you're like, oh.
Okay. I'm sure there were other ladies there we could have shown, but I guess maybe she was into it.
Speaking of other ladies that are in the crowd, we have Charlie's would-be girlfriend who is starting to petition to remove the Warriors. Native American characterization on a mascot. This is happening in 1996. We are now in 2021, where there is one team that was got so much pressure that they're now just the Washington Football Club, and the Indians have chosen to not use their super racist logo. They've set a timer on it, so it'll be done soon.
They set a timer.
They should have called it the Eden High hockey team instead of the Ducks. I get the Ducks really wanted it, but
Which I'm kind of like, okay, is it good that this movie's talking about it, or is it sad that this children's movie from 1996 was like, this is kind of bullshit, and then it's still 20 years later, just 25
happened.
years later, and we're just like, I don't know. Can we talk about this? Yeah, it's both. Okay.
Yeah.
This movie is really weird in that, speaking of just like issues like that, like this movie, it kind of has that thing where it's trying to be a little bit Animal House. It's trying to be like, oh, this is just like one of those school movies, but it has like one of the characters crawling underneath the table of cheerleaders, like with just a shot of all their legs, and then just like basically turning to the camera and being like, wink, like
directly into the camera.
I was like, no.
And he looks and it's not even like an ain't I a stinker face. It's like pretty nice, right?
Yeah.
And then later at the end of the movie, he's making out with that girl, which is problematic.
Stolen girlfriend.
Well, it's problematic even from the very start, the first time he appears on screen, because just because he's this like Latin guy from Miami, he's automatically like a Lothario, you know, creepster. All he's there to do is hit on girls. Like, it's just like, come on, man.
Speaking of stereotypes in these movies, I realized in this one with our Austin, Texas gentleman that like how much the sports sequel relies on the country rube archetype. We saw it in Major League. We see it in this. Like, we need, like, you mean to tell me that we're some sort of team? Like, you need that guy. And it really is like they have all these different things, and they become these stereotypes and archetypes. And like that one is, as it's so useful to screenwriters, I see why, but it's why these types of movies kind of need to die or be completely reinvented.
Well,
because
I mean,
they rely on those stereotypes.
Yeah.
But stereotypes against white people are fine.
What was the word that he didn't understand?
TBD?
TBD.
Oh yeah, TBD.
But there was another one later that was even dumber that I was like, he doesn't understand English?
No, yeah, it was like when they said he was gonna take away their scholarships, but I don't remember what the word was that.
Yeah.
And Keenan's like, it means adios, amigo.
Which is not in English.
Yeah. Like, okay. I mean, at least, it gave us a Disney Lone Ranger film without any cannibals in it for a brief moment.
That we know of.
That's right. Yeah, that's true. We haven't got the check-in on that guy yet, so maybe he is a cannibal now. Yeah, I did think it was weird. The movie kind of like settles in and repeats a lot of stuff from the last film. We get the like, lassoing people on the ice again.
Yeah.
And
and like it's kind of even worse towards all the female players and the women in this movie. Like they kind of abandon Connie completely, and she doesn't really get anything to do. But then they kind of go all in on Julie, who is a cat now for some reason. Is that like a common hockey nickname? Is that why they call her that?
No, they called her that in the first
Julie
one.
the cat.
I remember that.
They called her that in D2, yeah.
Okay, anyways, so she's Julie the cat. And Goldberg's jealous that she is like completely better than him and deserves the position, and so he instead tries to give her an eating disorder. And like, because she's polite, he buys her food that she can't refuse until she's so full that she pukes everywhere. Like, not cool. I don't know.
No, it's god awful.
Yeah, and he keeps calling her the cat lady and all this stuff, which is another,
and then she, like we already said, she has this like I guess she flirted with that guy one time in the movie, but not even really, and then they made out at the end.
That was weird.
Despite the fact that he was like one of the evil people and never really was nice.
So like this is I'm gonna say something that the answer is like an emphatic yes to, but the hypothetical is like, can you even blame dudes for like all the toxic? Like I was so surprised about all the toxic masculinity in this movie.
Right?
Just like, be that complete asshole, and like at the end, no matter what happens, you make out with the girl, bro. Like that's what happens, and it's like, yes, you can totally blame dudes for that, but it's like, it was in all of these movies.
Right. And even Joshua Jackson, like when the girl that he likes rejects him, she's like, I don't like you. You're a jock. That's it. But then he goes up to her at a bench and immediately starts negging her. He's like, well, if you don't like me, then you must be a snob. Like you are, you're like, blah, blah, blah. And then she's kind of like, oh, well, okay, I don't want to be a snob, so I guess I like you now. Like it's just like so messed up.
Even the team changing its name, like it's like he did it for her. It was just like, I don't know if it was the right thing to do, but like she likes it.
Yeah, but like he had nothing to do with it. And then like also oh god, it's so bad. Like I
The
don't know.
larger thing with this movie is that every scene where this new coach is supposed to be terrible, I'm just like, no, this coach is right.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
That's
okay,
how I felt too the whole
yes,
time.
I feel like he was kind of also like pushing the toxic masculinity on them sometimes, but but a lot of the things he was right about, like, and I don't know, like, did they not play defense in the other two movies?
No,
like,
they never really did.
Okay, so then fair enough. Go learn it.
Like it's one of those things where I remember this coach being such a dick, and it being impactful when like, oh no, like he gave up, like that thing working in 1996.
You're just like Charlie.
Yeah,
Tyler.
when I was 9. But like watching it now, it's like he doesn't need some tragic fucking backstory.
No.
Like he was just being actually a pretty good coach, where he's just like, no, you're not in the juniors anymore. You're not in, like, that's what you did when you were in grade school. Like, this is a high school team. We're preparing you for the real world. You're not Ducks. Like, no, like, we're coming here. We're going to play like I'm the coach. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but Tyler, these kids need to be violently shown how dumb and wrong they are. Every movie. You have to be like, oh, well, you thought this guy was a dickbag? Well, guess what? He gave up his career to help his disabled daughter. You loser, Charlie. You're such a mean person. I can't believe you hated him without even knowing him. Just like you were saying to Linda or whatever her name was.
Yeah.
Whatever her name was.
Well, I thought it was funny that, like, we're talking about if they were girlfriends or boyfriends or whatever.
Yep.
And on the thing, it says Charlie Conway's friend on Wikipedia. So they
My
didn't
favorite
quite
thing,
make it.
as I was researching this, there was like an ice hockey Wikipedia. And I was like, oh, I bet they'll have something interesting about this movie. And it was just a direct copy and paste from the Wikipedia.
Okay, so let's talk about the prank war for a second.
Yeah.
Because okay, like shots fired, first prank, they put their clothes in the shower and then didn't throw tampons at it, so whatever. But the clothes were in the gym shower.
Period.
It did evoke some Carrie for me as well.
Yeah. So like, okay, yes, that sucks, but also like no permanent damage has been done, really. You know, decent prank. Round 2, I mean, does liquid nitrogen even work like that?
If
They had allowed the jackets to defrost, wouldn't they have been fine? Or no?
I'm not sure.
I don't think it even quick freezes things like that. I don't think that works that way.
Okay. Because they completely shattered these Letterman's jackets, which cost like $500 or like, $400, $500, especially in high school. Like,
yes, that prank cost more than the dinner that they forced them to pay.
I do like that. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So then, yeah, the dinner, which, like, again, they were able to get out of by doing dishes. So, like, I mean, yeah, it sucks, but again, no harm done. They didn't get arrested, like. So then the ant thing, when they were putting the hoses under the door, I was like, are they gonna murder them? Like, I thought they were gonna gas
Put
them
in the gas.
for real.
Yeah.
But you get the ants, which, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't think they knew enough about those ants to know whether that could really have been very damaging.
Were the ants allergic? Like, that's not.
Right.
It's not good.
Were the ants making like human noises? Did anyone else
They
hear
were.
that?
Yes, they all sounded like Woody Allen.
They were like,
so that was the real danger.
Yeah. Look out.
And that was before the movie Ants with a Z, starring Woody Allen.
I felt like they were going like or something like that while they were running around, or maybe I'm just
I
was just
at
out
one point.
of it.
No, at one point somebody was like, "Hey, a guy!" Like, they were making little voices.
That's what I thought. There's lots of weird moments in here where there's like cartoon sound effects and stuff. Like when people stop, it's like scream and like weird things. I had fun. Yeah, I had fun with the prank wars. I thought that was kind of funny. I liked how dumb the varsity team was when they first see that their stuff has been frozen. They're walking in like, what? What is this? Well, the guy from Walking Dead is like something. That guy's not all there in this movie. There's a part where I don't remember what they were saying, but they were like, "Quit trying to confuse him, man. You know it doesn't."
Yeah,
go
you know
well."
what happens
from
when
the
you
other
ask them
side of the
questions.
tracks.
Oh yeah,
He said, "There's no train, Cole," and he was like, "What?"
There's no tracks. Yeah.
Which, by the way, that's another thing is that like they're being mean to them for being poor, and they're also being like kind of racist to them. But there's only like 2.5 kids of color on the team. The rest of them are still just white Minnesotans.
Yeah.
Speaking of people who did they exist, Jesse.
Yeah. So Jesse is completely gone and we don't know anything. And so I get that you want to keep Keenan, right? Because Keenan is awesome. Yeah. And honestly, like in this movie, he's sort of acting circles around everybody. Like I was shocked because at not Jan. Jan is gone. Hans. At Hans's funeral.
Jan is gone. Hans also gone.
Keenan didn't even know Hans, and he was like weeping at the funeral, like crying for. I was like, "Damn, Keenan." Okay. Anyways, but Keenan's like the only one that's like bringing any realism to this, but I did not like that they forced Keenan to call somebody cake eater at some point because like you can't just like pretend like, well, he's the black kid now, like he's got to say that black kid's line from the last movie.
I feel like that they all called him that.
They called Blake Cake Eater from the beginning.
They called anybody. He like Jesse's thing was that he would always call anybody like rich or white cake eater. Like that was like his catchphrase or whatever. And so then Keenan did it, and I was like, oh, like I don't like it.
Yeah. Well, maybe Jesse never existed.
Maybe he didn't.
I meant to say Banks earlier when I was saying Blake, but I was like this movie too. I'm like, man, Adam Banks cannot catch a break.
Right, he's like a puck in the chest, didn't he?
Yeah, and he's like I feel like he's like the most tortured player throughout the entire series.
He really is.
Like he just wants to, he made his choice. He just wants to be on the Ducks, not get injured. But every movie he's either getting hit in the face, broken back. Now he's getting switched onto the varsity team, and then everyone hates him again. Like, come on, just cut this kid some slack.
They hate him immediately too.
Yeah, and they're like, well, he made his choice. And I'm like, did he? Like,
let's put ants all over him.
Yeah.
It's like, damn.
Screw that guy. He's also labeled as the top Mighty Ducks player on Wikipedia. In case you're wondering. He's apparently the best one. Which I guess makes sense. But I felt bad for him in this movie.
I did too. So yeah, at some point they're not doing that well, and so they're going to take away their scholarships in the middle of the year. But they do tell them that they can stay till the end of the semester.
Yeah,
and that's when Bombay comes back, who apparently, despite now being like a director of operations for the Junior Goodwill Games, he has apparently
director
continued
of operations for a fake organization.
Yeah, despite his drunk driving conviction, he's continued to pay his bar dues and be officially able to practice law.
Yeah. I thought that was weird. I'm like, I was kind of like, would they be able to do that? Just like revoke their scholarships like that for kind of like no reason? Unless I can't remember if I guess we never got to see the details of the contract, but like, was the contract like all about them being a good hockey team only? They were keeping their grades up as far as I know.
It's crazy. I mean, I'm sure there were some things about it's probably more about grades and staying on the team, just staying on it, not being kicked off. Like, I don't think you could say like if you're performing badly, you lose your scholarship. Like, I don't think that's how it works. You could get benched,
right? Yeah, it seemed like they were all there was that whole montage of like everyone being super interested in schools. So it seemed like they were doing a good job.
So I apologize. I didn't hear like the past 5 minutes of what you just said. Less than that, like 2 minutes. Because I was looking up what the Junior Goodwill Games was because I was dunking on it this entire time. And just reading what it is actually fucking crazy. And it makes sense why Disney chose this. But oh my fucking God, let me tell you about the Junior Goodwill. They're real. They're real. They're real fake. They're real fake. That they were made in 1980 when all of the countries were boycotting the games in Russia. Okay. And Ted Turner decided that he wanted to have his own Olympics because after the boycott, they were like, well, what are we going to show? Like, we were going to show all these Olympic sports. So they made the Goodwill Games. They happened 5 times.
Okay.
But it was basically because when all of the countries decided to boycott the Olympics, Ted Turner was like, but my ratings.
So the Junior Goodwill Games were real or no?
I did not read that far down, but just the idea of that. Yes, I think so, and I think that Disney went with them because like they're less controversial than the Olympics, I guess.
Less expensive than the Olympics.
Is there the junior Olympics?
If you do Google Junior Goodwill Games, the first thing that comes up is Disney Wiki fandom. So.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm sure it also lists the Goodwill Games as allies and enemies. That's always our favorite thing to read on those Disney wikis.
Yeah. So
and also the whole school attended that board meeting, as well as all of the parents and all of the alumni.
yeah, I was like, is this televised right now? Damn.
Marsha Clark's just off to the corner.
That board was terrible. They really just wanted to get rid of those poor kids.
They really did.
for no
It's
reason.
like, what? They've lost 2 games? These fucking assholes.
For bald guy's child to be in the thing. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Chad needs to play hockey.
But yeah, Gordon Bombay scares them all those white people into clutching their pearls and deciding to vote to keep the scholarships.
Yeah.
Even the guy's dad is like, yeah, I don't want to get sued.
Yeah, and there's like there's like dialogue off screen of someone being like, we don't have any other choice. Or like, there's nothing we could do.
Additional voices.
Amazing.
He's got us by the balls. This Bombay. I thought he was a hockey coach.
So after this
They
happens,
should call him Ball Bay.
Bombay.
So after this happens, and after Charlie learns about Coach Orion's disabled daughter, Coach Orion then just completely is like, you know what? I don't care anymore. Let's have fun. Let's play with trash. Let's just do whatever we want to do and be the Ducks again. Like it's just like, okay.
It is a weird like switch flip where it was just like, well, if Gordon talked to you about all this, then like, why are you being such a dick about it?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's just.
But yeah, so they get one more chance to play that moment of like, oh my God, what's in that box? Holy shit, the box has Ducks uniforms. No way! They're the Ducks again.
All proceeds went to the benefit of Hans's family.
Yeah. Yes, actually, Hans donated his skin to make this flag. we dyed his skin into this giant flag that I will unfurl.
Ducks fly together.
That I hung in secret and will unfurl at the end of the game because I knew this was going to happen. And here you go.
Which is funny. Actually, my Dark Knight joke is even more prescient than I thought, in that the dean of the school voices Commissioner Gordon in most of the DC animated movies.
Wow, that's funny. There you go. You knew it. You called it. Yeah.
So I don't have that much more to say about what happens in this movie, other than that it's totally ridiculous that the Aaron Lore has to come back for the final game as the second Bash brother. Is like, what? Like, what? Did he have a scheduling conflict or something? But even so, it's like, just don't have him in the movie then. I mean, I love him. I want him to be in the movie because he's from Newsies. But like, it's just like so dumb. And then, of course, he gets thrown out of the game after 2 seconds and then strips.
After he kills somebody.
That's all this movie's about.
Straight up murders somebody. Also, they send him through the glass, which is, we call it the glass. It's plexiglass. It does not shatter when somebody's thrown through it.
Yeah, and I was like, my first thought was like, oh my God, he went skates first into the crowd.
Into the crowd, people would be dead.
Yeah, and everyone's just like, oh my God, whoa, he's got tweet.
Take your clothes off.
Yeah, do it again. Yeah. I did think it was weird that he showed up at the last second. I was not expecting that. I was just like, okay, I guess he's not in the movie. Whatever.
And I love it. And somebody's like, he can't play. And he's like, he has a contract. And it's like, I guess scholarship is not a contract.
Especially if you never started the semester, I doubt the contract is still good up to the final game, you know? Like,
he's like, I just found this thing sitting around my house.
It's like, it's just like a bullshit varsity JV scrimmage.
Yeah.
I did think, I guess maybe that's one of the tenets of the Mighty Ducks franchise. There has to be a last minute lineup change, unexpected lineup change in the major game at the end of the movie.
Oh, so that's what Tenet's about.
Oh. Who's going in reverse and who's not?
It's the second Bash brother.
I think Goldberg was going in reverse for a bunch of it, so he's probably one of the Tenet agents. So Eliz, what, you're gonna do the child star check?
I am. It's long.
Let's do this.
So, do you want to start at the top or the bottom?
Let's start at the top.
Are we talking morally or alphabetically?
I'm talking in credit order. Like, you know,
I was like,
first. Let's go with first on the call sheet.
Yeah. So Joshua Jackson, obviously, I mean, like we said, he's 2 years away from the Creek. And then, you know, he's still acting. He was in The Affair. Most recently, I saw him in Little Fires Everywhere, which I want to say is probably just the same character grown up. And then,
which is interesting because the coach is also was in the second show from that person. Anyway,
yes, he's in Big Little Lies.
Big Little Lies.
Gordon, the horrible, awful, like Peter Pan husband. But anyway, so Joshua Jackson, I purposely didn't look it up because I don't want to know yet if he makes a cameo in the show. But like every headline was like, people are dying to know if Joshua Jackson is going to be in the show. I'm like, okay, I guess people are dying to know. So yeah, that's what he's up to. So then Eldon Henson, who was Fulton, I had no idea this whole time that his brother is Garrett Ratliff Henson, who is Guy. So Guy and Fulton are brothers this entire time. They look nothing alike, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Huh. So they're brothers. They're both still acting. They're, you know, in a whole bunch of things. And apparently Guy is still really good friends with Banks. They're besties, I guess. Okay, so, you know, this is not great. You might have heard about this on TMZ or something, but Sean Weiss, Goldberg. I mean, it's scary. Like, but I would, if you want to know about this, just Google him and you'll see the photos. And it's horrifying.
The photos
photo of
are
him
rough.
is horrifying. He got real into meth. Okay, like really into meth. Okay, but before that he was on Freaks and Geeks, but then he has diabetes. His father died. He spiraled. He got super into meth. He was all the way down to 110 pounds.
Oh god.
He looks like a skeleton. He's completely unrecognizable if you look at these photos. He got arrested at some point, breaking into someone's garage. And the good news, though, is that he is 1 year sober as of last month, according to his friend who is supporting him, his post. And last fall, he got new teeth thanks to a GoFundMe that fans created, I guess, for his friends and fans. So he has new teeth. He's sober for a year.
That's
Wish
great.
him the best. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, if you look it up, the picture is terrifying.
Yeah. Yikes.
Are you looking at it right now?
I saw it earlier, yeah.
I've seen
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Needing to get new teeth is
Okay.
never a good thing.
Yeah. All right. So moving on, Vincent LaRusso, Banks. He kind of at some point was like, you know, acting is not my calling. And he went to college. He studied business administration. And he's been a really, really high up director and manager of food and beverage at places like Club Med, Soho House, and most recently the Ambassador Theater Group in New York.
Wow.
Okay. And he's probably one of the ones that's most involved in like going to conventions and stuff. I guess since he's like, yeah, sure, why not? Like make a couple extra bucks, you know.
I feel like he's a good candidate to maybe show up in the TV show.
Maybe, yeah.
That's probably right.
Depending where they filmed it too. I mean, a handful of these people are in New York now, and of course some in California and some are still in Minnesota. So Matt Doherty, Averman, which I guess if someone was going to say something anti-Semitic, why wouldn't they say it to him and
Right.
Goldberg? But anyway, he's still acting, here and there. He also does a lot of fan things, and he says he still plays hockey in the beer league on Wednesday nights. And he said that he's not very good, so he thinks that his beer league people only keep him on there because he was in the Mighty Ducks.
That's really funny.
So
Bring in the fans.
yeah. I also, really didn't recognize her this whole time, but Marguerite Moreau, who got to keep her last name in the movie as Connie, she was in Free Willy too. She was the girl, which I didn't remember. And then she's in Wet Hot American Summer.
Which is why I recognized her from both. Yes.
Yep,
right.
yep.
Yes. She's in all of the summers.
She's great.
Okay. Michael Kudlitz, who is the guy.
Just to interject, sorry, really quickly, is even more of a travesty that she's not used more in this movie because she's so fucking funny.
Yeah, out of all the people, even more than Joshua Jackson, actually, she is prolific. She's been in more things than almost all these people. Okay, Michael Kudlitz, who is, I think, the guy you mentioned, Walking Dead. He's the dumb guy, Cole, in this movie. He was in a play with Philip Seymour Hoffman. I was like, what's PSH? What did I write? And he oh no, I'm so sorry. That's a different guy. Okay. This guy Cole, he has played a police detective in about 150 different shows, including Southland. Yeah. He was Ana Lucia's partner in Lost. And right now he is on Clarice, and I'm assuming it's a big role because he's in like every episode. So good for him. Okay, now
another show that is confused about ages.
Right. Now, the guy who was in a play with Philip Seymour Hoffman is Christopher Orr, who was Rick. He was sort of the ringleader of the bad guys. I'm not sure what he's up to really, but I know that his wife owns a ballet studio in Evanston, Illinois, and that they own a 4-bedroom, 2-bedroom house, 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house that is valued at $420,000. Okay, so Aaron Lohr, who, if you're a nerd like me, you know him from Newsies. He's also the singing voice of Max in a Goofy movie. If you like any of those songs, that's him. He's in the Rent movie and on the soundtrack. And he is Mr. Idina Menzel as of a couple years ago, I think.
Wow.
And he, while he was acting, he's been in a lot of TV shows and other things too. But at the same time, he earned his master's in criminal justice. And so now he is a recovery specialist and therapist in Malibu at a rehab place. So I don't know. Maybe he helped Sean Weiss, I hope.
That's a super interesting bio.
Yeah, I don't know if he's at Passages or there's probably hundreds of those places in Malibu, but yeah, he's like, he also worked on like criminal justice reform in New York and like other things too, and he's been on Broadway, of course, and okay. Ty O'Neill, Dwayne, the Texas bumpkin. He did do stunts in Wild Wild West, which is what I know you were wondering. But
that's my question about everybody.
Yeah, he gets called in now and again to do lasso-y type things, but like that is his life, not acting. It's the rodeo, and he's part of the Pro Rodeo Cowboys Association. And him and his wife have a ranch where they raise horses and train people to do lasso stuff. And he did receive a PPP loan recently. So, small business.
Good for him.
Public records. Okay, so here's another sad one. Well, maybe not sad, depending on... I don't like it. But anyway, Mike Vitar, who plays... I don't even know his name in this movie. Luis? I don't know, the Hispanic guy. He's also in The Sandlot. He at some point was acting and then decided to become an EMT and then a firefighter. He works for the Los Angeles Fire Department. So if we have to call them, he may be the one who shows up. Who knows? Unfortunately, in 2015, him and a couple of buddies who were off duty on Halloween were drunk and they assaulted a guy that was walking around the neighborhood giving candy. And they accused him of having his fly down and lacing the candy with drugs, neither of which turned out to be true. But they beat the crap out of him, and not Mike Vitar, but another guy who was there that was also a firefighter. put the guy in a chokehold, and suffocated him, I guess, for so long that he became unconscious. And because they were firefighters, they were able to perform CPR and revive him.
Oh my God.
But they were still arrested, and he sued for millions of dollars. They pleaded guilty, no contest, and received 3 years probation, 6 months without pay. Not Mike Vitar, but the main aggressor, he was punished more. Mike Vitar was considered like one of the sidekicks in this situation, I guess. 6 months without pay, but he was reinstated, and he is still an active fire department firefighter.
That's terrible.
It is.
That's awful. I guess there's something to be said that they pleaded guilty.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it was
apparently
3
nothing happened, right?
firefighters versus a 24-year-old Asian graduate student that was giving out candy. So,
also, people, just in case you need to know, nobody's poisoning your candy. If you're going to be poisoned, it's going to be by somebody you know.
They made the police test the candy. That's how far this investigation got. The police looked, there's nothing on the candy.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate. Okay. Colombe Jackson Durstein, who plays Julie the cat in this movie. She is a very successful chef in New York City. She's got her own blog and a website and whatnot, and she was one of the finalists on Food Network Star, apparently.
Oh,
cool.
Justin Wong, our one Asian kid in this, he is a live sound engineer in Canada. And he also did fan things. They did a couple reunions a few years ago, so a lot of them, came to it. So Scott White with a Y is the guy that I mentioned played Gunnar, the Icelandic point person in the last film. He's now the goalie. He went to the famous Miracosta High School and then to USC, which lots of people do. But he is also one of the most prolific people to come out of this because he has just done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of video game voices and ADR and sound work on lots and lots of things. Cool. Margot Finley, who plays the girl, what was her name? Linda, the petition girl. She's a lawyer in Canada, very successful. And then Benjamin Salisbury, he was the kid on The Nanny. And then after that decided to go back and do high school. But since he was in Minnesota, they're like, come be the announcer of D3. And so he got that little featured role as the announcer kid that you guys mentioned. And he's currently the director of operations of Universal Studios Hollywood.
Oh,
wow, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
crazy.
So that's I'll start checking.
Oh, we
did it. D3.
That's right.
All 3 movies.
We had a lot of hangovers from the first one, right? Because we were waiting all the way to the end.
This is why it took me 3 movies to realize those 2 guys were brothers. I don't know. Did you notice that at all?
No, they don't. I had read it the first.
You knew that, okay?
No. Yeah,
they don't look like brothers to me at all. Sorry.
But yeah, I think it's funny how they were like, yeah, you played a white guy from Iceland, but no one's going to know who you were. Just come back and be the goalie in this one.
Yeah, be the creepy guy.
Be the creepy one.
Goalie
he confuses
on goalie.
the Walking Dead guy.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else you guys want to talk about? You mentioned, what was his name? The figure skating kid?
Ken Wu or something like that.
Yeah, I was just, I forgot. I liked the scene where Keenan is teaching him to trash talk. I thought that was kind of funny. Oh. He was so full of energy that he just wanted to yell at the other people.
Yeah, hey, ref! And they're like, no, not that.
Different target.
Trash talk the players.
Yeah, I thought that was a cute scene. I don't know, Tyler, you want to do the ye old rating system?
Ye old rating system. I would say, how many fake blood ketchup packets would you give D3 The Death of Hans?
The Death of Hans.
Or it's Jan. Death of Jan? Death of Jan.
They both are dead, I think.
Yeah.
Canonically.
Hans drove off into the
D3,
sunset.
Jan Han Endgame.
I know our theory of seeing the Hans Jans brothers didn't pan out immediately.
They're singing Zha Zha Ding Dong.
It could still, yeah, it could still happen in the TV show. Franz will show up.
Yeah, I'll give it I guess 6 bottles of ketchup. It was fine. I don't know. I should like I think I forgot to say this last week. I do actually work for Disney, but my opinions do not represent anyone or anything. But yeah, I mean, I'm just like in general, even before that, I'm just like a sucker for a Disney movie. I'm like, okay, it's cute. We got a lot of the main actors back. Keenan's here. Like I said, I think he's acting circles around everybody. I wish he was in the movie more. And so it's like ridiculous, but for some reason I did kind of remember this one fondly. I think it must have been like the most recent one I had seen or something like that, because I remembered it even more than the other two. And I remembered that there was some sort of private school thing happening. It's fine. What are you gonna do?
I think I gave the last one 5, and I kind of want to give this one 6 or 7. I kind of like this one a little bit better than the last movie, honestly.
I guess it's more realistic in a way.
Yeah, and I feel like there's better lessons to be learned in this movie, and there's a little bit more.
People actually learn lessons in this movie.
Yeah, and there's a little bit more like, you know, character development and emotional payoff. Like, you know, I guess, you know, Hans dying is kind of a cheap thing to pull, but it actually, like, you know, moves Charlie forward a little bit. And I think, you know, Gordon Bombay shows up for some really good talks with him. And I like even Coach Orion, you know, that great speech he gives about like confidence and using the puck and everything. I think a lot of that stuff is great and could, you know, land on kids in a good way watching this movie. I think, yeah, I don't know. I also enjoyed I like those kind of college pranky movies, and so I kind of enjoyed that versus the let's fight all the bad countries. You know,
Iceland,
junior
those
Goodwill.
fuckers.
Yeah, Iceland, a notoriously evil country. That's why. Yeah, I don't know. I was not really jiving with the last one. This one, yeah, I don't know. Felt a little slightly bit more grown up, and I kind of like that.
You were just like, oh, these Goodwill games just feel like a ploy by Ted Turner.
Yeah. I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah, I think I agree with everything you just said. I think I'm going to give it 6 fake blood ketchup packets. There are actual lessons to be had in this movie. There are times where, like, the scene crawling underneath the table with all the cheerleaders that I was like, the fuck?
Yeah.
But the movie is actually trying to move these characters forward, trying to say something, even though it stumbles over itself. But yeah, I think that this coach, like, it's amazing to me that as a kid, I thought that this coach was the fucking worst. And then I remember this one fondly too. And I remembered a lot of it, way better than I thought I did, which why it was so striking to me I was in complete agreement with the coach almost every scene.
Oh yeah. I'm sure that
I gotta
happens.
say though, like, just, you know, I think it's kind of easy to say that as adults now because like I mean I sort of like went through something similar. Like when I was in high school, the band director left before my senior year to take a higher job, and you know, we got stuck with a guy and it just was horrible. We hated him, you know, blah blah blah. For us, it made sense because he was a horrible douchebag, but I definitely got how Charlie felt at the beginning when he was like sort of you know, angry at first, but then he should have like eventually come around because this guy was actually nice. But you know, as an adult, you have more perspective and you realize how little that all matters. Like, I mean, I still hate that guy because he sucks, but like, I'm not as mad about the like, I lost my experience, blah 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 anymore. You know, like I just hate him as a person, not as a band director anymore. Like,
well, he's also just like, no, you're gonna get your asses kicked. Like, I'm the coach now, and this is what we do. And it's like, yeah, like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I like that scene when he's like, you know, kicking them off the team, or Charlie and what's his face, Fulton leave, and he's like,
God, we didn't even talk about that. How they like go on a date?
Yeah, it's the Mall of America, isn't it?
Do you want to run away to Neverland with me? And he's like, I don't know. I think I might want to be a vet tech.
That was a weird thing. I that really sad scene where they're like playing the carnival game and the guy's like, "Hey, you guys skipping school? I skipped a lot of school when I was young
Which
too."
is-
I think that's the director, right?
Great job.
No, that's not the director. That's Stephen Brill, the creator of
Oh, the
who
writer.
wrote-
Yeah.
Oh,
The writer, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I was like, wow, that was a depressing moment.
I used to skip a lot of school.
I don't think they even noticed. Yeah. Oh, what did you guys think too about the literal fireworks at the end of this movie?
Why? Why?
Oh my god. Okay, so we have to talk about.
Is that how the Dark Knight ended?
Yeah, escapes into the night, but then we get a flashback of him and Charlie doing a fist bump, and Disney, in their great wisdom, thought that Tinkerbell should bless this with a fireworks show.
Weird.
You know, it reminded me of something we forgot to talk about last week, where there's that shot of the airplane carrying the team back to Minnesota that fades into like, you know, a bunch of ducks flying in the air. Like, here's the ducks flying.
Well, yeah, the
back.
plane crashed and they were all reincarnated as ducks.
Yeah. Here's a literal flying V. Yeah. That was a cheesy ass ending. Stupid.
And the fireworks covered up MC Gainey.
Oh yeah, I did like to. We didn't really talk too much about the music in this, but I did like that. Every time the varsity team was playing, they were using like like crazy. Like these are literal demons.
I mean, I'm a big Hunchback Hellfire person, but it didn't fit here. Like, Latin chanting.
Yeah, so funny, so funny. That was good stuff. And the bare naked ladies, terrible.
Oh, the bare naked ladies.
Okay, so what do we think is going to happen in this show?
Yeah, so the next thing up, is the next week, the Friday, the 26th.
Are they
Mighty
like
Ducks Game Changers?
Can we only watch one episode, or what was the timeline?
I haven't seen about that because I've been trying not to like look up too much about it. So
Right.
I'm hoping that maybe we get to watch like 2 episodes, but we might only get 1. I don't know.
Depending on what they drop, or like calendar wise?
Oh, calendar wise, we're only gonna get to see whatever drops on the first night.
Week 1. Okay, I see what you're saying. All right. Well, we know Emilio's in it. And I know Lauren Graham is in it, but other than that,
and a bunch of
I'm not
random
really...
kids. That's all I've seen as well.
I bet Charlie Sheen shows up.
I wonder. Yeah, I'm curious how much Emilio Estevez is actually going to be in it.
Well, it's supposed to be like a Cobra Kai thing or something, right?
Yeah.
Where like the ducks are evil now or something.
Oh, I don't know. I watched the trailer once and I can't recall a single thing from it.
The kids seem to be young.
Yeah, but I mean, so did the kids in the first movie. They were also pretty young. So
they seem to be actually 11 and 12-year-olds.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm interested.
Well, we can watch it. We can predict which one of them will become the most successful voice actor in the future.
What if they?
You'll get to voice Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, what are we gonna do if they drop like all 10 episodes or whatever, like Friday night?
Only 5 hours, whatever.
That's
They're only
true.
30 minutes, right? I'll watch it.
Probably.
Quack, quack, quack.
Let's plow through it. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm interested to see what they're going to do with it. I was not really expecting this to be one of the things they brought back for Disney Plus, but hey,
I didn't realize that Emilio had never like shared the fact that it was drunk driving that brought him to the Ducks in the first place. Like, so when he said that to Charlie, I was kind of like, huh. And then I was sort of like, I hope in the new show that he has reverted once again and is drunk and has to like again have the Ducks teach him a wonderful lesson about life and love.
It does look like he's got some facial hair in this one, I think. So that's yeah, maybe he's doing a little sauce. Did you see that at the end of this movie that the production company for this film was called Gordon's Last Song Productions?
Yes.
Gordon's Last Song.
Last song.
I will only be in the movie for 20 minutes,
Threatening
please.
legal.
That's all I have time for these days.
Legal action.
And they also
He's dancing with Charlie's mom like Captain America.
God.
Oh God. All right. Well, I mean, I think that's pretty much going to wrap us up. I'm interested to see what happens in this new new modern show.
I'm not a Gilmore Girls fan, so I have sort of like weird feelings about Lauren Graham, but we'll see how it goes.
I liked her.
I liked her better in Zoe's, but I hate Gilmore. I hate every Amy Sherman Palladino because they all talk like this and they don't breathe and they blah 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 about everything, and I hate it.
She was in Parenthood too, right? I really liked that.
I didn't watch that.
Oh, okay. I think she was. Unless I missed her.
She was, yes, but I didn't watch it.
I thought I like that show too. So I now am like a Lauren Graham fan, so I like her.
Okay, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm open-minded.
Totally. I hope it's.
I have no idea what you're talking about either.
I mean, it's called Game Changers, so maybe they're playing basketball now. I don't know.
Air Bud. At the end, Air Bud's gonna show up and he's gonna bark out, "I'm putting together a team."
He's gonna be like, "Bark, bark."
What if
bark,
Charlie Sheen
bark.
does come as his major league character? Okay, that would be like head exploding.
Oh my god. That'd be nuts. That would be nuts.
But I mean, there's got to be some cameos, right? If not Joshua Jackson, there's got to be someone other than Emilio.
Yeah, I hope so.
I hope it's the 98-year-old guy Hans showing up as a ghost.
Yeah, because Emilio's got to be like, "Hey, here's one of the original Ducks players, and he's going to tell you about my time with
I
the
hope
Ducks."
it's the most random one.
Yeah,
like
I don't even know
who
who
would
it
it
could be.
The most random one.
Fulton's brother.
Fulton's brother. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Guy,
You'd be
the
like,
guy who got to make out and then never was seen from again. Pretty much.
Well, after next week, we're going to be needing a new franchise. So, Eliz, where can people reach out to us?
Yes, please email us at sequelrights@gmail.com with your suggestions, or you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Sequel Rights.
And please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. 5 stars goes a long way to help other people find the show. Otherwise, just tweet out one of your recent favorite franchises that we've covered. I've had some friends that are going through Carrie and have been very nice about that. Tell us what you've been listening to if you're just stumbling into this now.
Yeah.
Even if you're listening to this in the far, far future where everything's better.
That's right. Well, I hope you guys had a good time today here, and we'll see you guys next week for the Disney Plus original series that maybe only us are watching. I have no idea if anyone's excited about this.
People are going to watch it.
I know, yeah, they will. But it has to go up against new Falcon and the Winter Soldier episodes, so I feel like no one's gonna be talking about the Mighty Ducks.
Hot take. Sebastian Stan, least hot Avenger. I will die on this hill. Okay?
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week for Mighty Ducks Game Changers.